After just one season in charge, Mauricio Pochettino has been shown the door at Chelsea, and with fan favourite Thiago Silva departing, it's officially time to usher in a new era at the bridge, the Enzo Maresca era. Welcome to the FC24 Chelsea Realistic Rebuild Career Mode. The aim is simple, to get Chelsea back to winning silverware, thanks to their brand new Italian manager, who is just fresh off the back of his promotion success with Leicester. Let's dive straight into it. Wasting no time here, it was time to get rid of some of the deadwood at the club, starting with Kepa Arrizabalaga, cutting our losses and selling him off to Brighton. Following that up, we decided to sell Hakim Ziyech to Liverpool for 20 million. Finally, Romelu Lukaku left the club for 45 million. But we didn't waste any time in strengthening our team, with Bastoni signing from Inter Milan for an eye-watering fee, the Italian joining up with his fellow countryman Enzo Maresca at Chelsea. And we also didn't stop there with Italy signing Konecki, the young goalkeeper, signing from Atalanta for a giga fee of 50 million. And we also then said goodbye to Raheem Sterling. He decided that his time at the bridge was over, heading back to Manchester City. One more signing was required though. Gyökeres signing from Sporting CP. The Swedish striker had a great season last year, signing for 54 million. And then we also decided to loan out Levy Colwell for this season to Newcastle. And just checking in now on the Chelsea loan army. Plenty of promising faces here. We will continue to check on these guys throughout the career mode. Now that the transfer business is done, let's have a quick look at the starting 11 for this season. And Nkunku, Gyökeres and Palmer make up the front three. Gallagher, Hernandez and Caicedo make up the midfield trio. Chilwell, Bastoni, Diassi and Reece James make up the back line, and Konecki in goal. Let's now jump ahead to January and see where we're at. So at the midway point of this season, we are sitting in 6th place, just 5 points behind Manchester United in 4th. It's not been a bad start of life at the bridge for Enzo by any means, but we haven't exactly set the world alight just yet. Starting first, we have Shiro Chalobah heading over to Italy on a 2-year loan. We then had Romeo Lavia and Nicholas Jackson request to leave the club in January, so we had to structure deals for Ivan Toney and Scalvini, including those two players, in order to keep morale at the team high. And we also signed Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace for some cover for Caicedo in the middle of the park. Let's jump to the end of the season now to see how our first year in charge of Chelsea went. And we ended up finishing in 7th place. We lost touch with the top of the pack as the season went on, and a few injuries. Finished at 7th, wasn't a great season. In the FA Cup, we bombed out to Bristol City, a disappointing round 4 loss. Manchester City went on to win the FA Cup. In the Carabao Cup, we lost to Manchester City, who then went on to win that as well. The Conference League campaign was an absolute disaster. We finished 3rd in our group and bombed out of that. Frankfurt would then go on to win that. Stade Rennes up next would win the Europa League, and Real Madrid would win the Champions League. Moving over to the player stats now, Gyökeres is our top goal scorer of the season, bagging 17 goals. Nkunku bagged 15. Cole Palmer had 13. Ivan Toney bagged 12 between his 2 stints between Chelsea and Brentford. Caicedo rounded it out. Disappointingly, our new keeper Konecki only managed 6 clean sheets in all competitions. Thankfully, the board decided not to sack us at the end of the season. They know this is a project. They know this isn't going to happen overnight. However, we are going to have to turn our fortunes around into season 2. Let's get into it. Starting the season off, we did say goodbye to Mark Cucurella, who requested to leave the club for more game time. The same thing happened for Roberto Sanchez and Petrovic, our backup goalkeepers. We're happy to let them on to free up some transfer budget. So as we look at our squad heading into season 2, there are a few obvious areas for improvement, including left back, potentially another centre half to partner with Bastoni, and then maybe a centre mid as well to replace Conor Gallagher. Let's have a look and see what we can do in the transfer market. In our first bit of business here, we sold Amari Hutchinson to Stade Rennes for around 4.5 million. And the next bit of business we did was Ben Chilwell. Chilwell left the club heading to Bayern Munich. We're going to be signing a new left back, and Ian Maatsen just provides better cover there. And our next bit of business is done. Koçu, the Turkish midfielder, signing from Benfica for a fee of around about £55 million. And we complete our next signing, breaking the bank for a fee of £85 million. We signed probably the best left back in the world, Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. that position's going to be locked down for years to come now. And our final bit of business here for now, James Trafford signing as a backup goalkeeper. And this is how we will line up going into the new season. We broke the bank to sign Theo Hernandez, so we couldn't actually afford to bring in another centre-half. We do have a few on our transfer shortlist. This is how we go into the new season. The squad is looking stacked, and hopefully we should be able to push on to the top 4. And as you can see here, we've also organised loan deals for a lot of our fringe young players. Hopefully they'll come back at the end of the season ready to challenge in the first team for next year. But right now, I'm going to jump into simming the games up until January, where I'll join back with you and we'll see how we're going and potentially look at the transfer market again. Enzo Fernandez, halfway through the first part of the season, has requested a transfer away. He's been playing very regularly. Whether he's homesick, I'm not too sure, but he wants to move potentially for Champions League football. But we'll get him on the transfer list and try and find a replacement. Nane Madueke is the next player to come and say he wants to leave. He's been playing second fiddle to Cole Palmer and he's unhappy at that. And to be honest, he hasn't really developed as much as we would have liked. So let's explore some options to move him on. I think the reason why Nane Madueke was unhappy is because his squad role was set to important. I did go through and change a few of the other fringe players with new contracts down to different roles in the squad. However, I still think Nane Madueke is going to want to transfer out. And just like that, we've agreed a deal with RB Leipzig for Nane Madueke to transfer for just over £30 million. Still no offers for Enzo yet from outside of the Premier League. I don't want to sell him to a rival. We'll see what happens come the end of January. And we wasted no time in signing a replacement right winger. We signed Abdul Fadawi from Sporting. The Ghanaian winger had previously linked up with Maresca at Leicester and he was keen to bring him out to Chelsea. So at the halfway point of the season, checking in, we are having a much better season this time around. We are just 2 points off the top of the table. West Ham surprisingly had a flying start and currently sit in second. We're very happy with the progress we've made so far. And even with the Conference League as well, we walked through the groups, having a much better season all around this time around. Up next, we got an offer for Mudryk from Brighton, which we ended up accepted. He just hadn't developed enough, and we'll look for a replacement left winger next. Rather than buying a new left winger, we are just going to recall Angelo from his loan at Nottingham Forest so he can play backup to Christopher Nkunku for the rest of the season, and we'll look at reinvesting the funds elsewhere. The next bit of business in January, we ended up selling Benoit Badashi across to Newcastle. It's another player who's kind of lagged behind in development, and we'll look at reinvesting that money from him and Mudryk into a new defender. It took all the way to transfer deadline day, but we finally found our replacement, Odilon Kosanu. I'm definitely butchering that, for 40 million from Bayer Leverkusen. Now let's jump to the end of the season, to see how everything wraps up and to see if Enzo Maresca can win his first bit of silverware with Chelsea. And here we are at the end of the season, finishing in third place, a marked improvement on the first season. The Chelsea board have been rewarded for sticking with Maresca. We actually had a bit of a title run at one point, however we did start to have some fatigue towards the end of the season, but I think third place is something to be very happy about for Chelsea fans. And it doesn't stop there. Chelsea lifted the FA Cup with a 2-0 win over Arsenal in the final. And we also did the domestic double, winning the League Cup, winning both of our knockout competitions, adding 2 more bits of silverware to Chelsea's trophy room. Enzo Maresca has had a firmly good second season here at Chelsea. In the Conference League, we did go out in the quarterfinals to Bilbao, losing 4-3 on aggregate. Feyenoord went on to win that competition. The Europa League was won by RB Leipzig. The Champions League was won by FC Bayern Munich. And finally, Real Madrid won the Super Cup over Stade Rennes. Looking back at the Premier League, it was Manchester City who won in the end, with Coventry City, AFC Bournemouth and Middlesbrough all getting relegated. Going over to the stats now, it was a marked improvement for Karnaseshi here, getting 48 appearances and this time keeping 14 clean sheets in all competitions. Guy Corez is once again our top scorer, bagging 19 goals in all competitions, and Cuckoo also scored 19 goals as well. Cole Palmer scored 10, Butchu scored 8, and Ivan Toney added 8 as well. In terms of assists, and Cuckoo got 12, Palmer got 11, Gallagher got 7, Cuckoo got 5, and Enzo Fernandez also got 5. Enzo Fernandez, by the way, who is still with us as we've not received a suitable offer for him yet. We will reassess going into the new season. And just like that, we are at the end of the second season. The board is happy, the fans are happy, we're happy. Let's dive into next season where we have Champions League football for the first time. Despite last season providing 2 bits of silverware and a promising league finish. There is no time to rest as we dive into season 3 here. And looking at the squad, there is no obvious points of weakness in the squad. I think heading into the Champions League for the first time, we're just going to try and pick up rotation players that we can be strong across every match we play. Our first bit of business here, and Armando Broja is off to Girona for 23 million. He just hadn't developed as much as we would have liked him to. Our first signing here of the new season, Yao Neves signing from Villarreal for just over £50 million. Our next bit of business done and done. Michael Olise joins from Crystal Palace for a whopping £60 million. He should provide some excellent competition for the wide spots in the team. Next bit of transfer business is David Fofana will leave the club for 20 million to Newcastle. Scalvini is the next player to leave the club, another player whose development has just stunted since joining 2 years ago. Leslie Ugachukwu is the next player to leave the club, who joins Everton for 8.3 million. Next bit of business we did this window, Fabio Lopez signing from Al Hilal. The Portuguese striker comes across with most likely being Ronaldo's regen. Another young player through the door here with Jorel Hato joining from FC Nantes for 25 million. And here is the loan army for this year. A lot of these players, it's make or break time. If they don't come back from their loan deal ready to slot into the first 11, they will be sold. Summer transfer window done. We're now going to go and sim through the first half of the season. Check back in January, see where we're at, make some transfers and push on from there. Here we are now at the halfway point of the season. It's been a similar season to last. We are just about holding on to the top 2 here, sitting in 3rd. In the Champions League, we just about squeezed our way through with 3 draws, finishing 2nd in our group and booking a spot against Bilbao, the club that knocked us out of the Conference League last year. In terms of transfers for this month, we had a little bit of a clear out with Kasede, Chukwuemeka, Diassi and Trevor Chalobah all leaving the club to free up some funds. And all those funds were for one man, Fikayo Tomori now returning to the bridge for a sum of 70 million. He'll be the last piece of the puzzle in our defense here. And this is how the team is looking at the end of the January transfer window. No areas of weakness, strong players across the pitch. We've really built a special team here. Let's kick on to the end of the season. 1 game left and we are 1 point clear of Manchester City at the top of the table. If we can beat Aston Villa at home, regardless of results and elsewhere, we will be crowned Premier League champions. Throughout this entire season, we are not being top of the table once until on the 15th of May, we beat Manchester City 2-1 away from home to set up this final day match. This is our starting lineup we're going to be going with today. It's our strongest starting lineup. Parnachichi in goal, Hernandez, Bastoni, Tomori and James make up the back line. Caicedo, Fernandez and Kochu make up the midfield 3. And Cuckoo, Palmer on the wings and Gaio Corres up front. Let's get into the game. Huge day for Enzo Maresca. He knows if his side can just get the win today at home to Aston Villa, nothing else matters. They will be Premier League champions. Let's get in to the action. A chance to give a Corres, make some space, gives it to Fernandez, over to Nkuku, trying to make some space on the wing, puts inside to Caicedo, into Kochu. Kochu's going to fancy a chance. Good save by Martinez. Reece James now plays it through to Corres. Has a bit of space. Can he get a shot away into the box here? Drills it to the keeper. Good save from Martinez and well cleared. Can save for Aston Villa. Rodgers has some green in front of him and Reece James lagging behind. Can Rodgers do something for Aston Villa here? Play it into Watkins. Great save from Carnegie. Can Chelsea launch a counter-attack here? Enzo's driving forward. Plays it into Gakores. Gakores has a lot of space here to give Chelsea the lead. And he doesn't make a mistake. Guy Corres makes it Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, and Chelsea have one hand on the Premier League trophy. Caicedo now picks up the ball in Aston Villa's half. Koch is trying to find some space here. Plays it through to get Corres. Can get a shot away. Good save from Enzo. Good save. And it's half time here at the bridge. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea have a tentative grip on that Premier League title. They will want a second goal to wrap it up here. Can they hold on? Change at half time with Gusto coming on for Reece James and more pace on the right there. Cole Palmer has also been replaced by Michael Olise on the right wing. Into the second half now, and Aston Villa have a chance with Bailey down the wing. Inside to Dybala. Dybala crosses it in, but dealt with well, and Chelsea get away with it. Kochu now plays it to Enzo Fernandez. Plays it to Nkuku. Nkuku with a shot. Good save by Amy Martinez. Been a very quiet second half, but Chelsea would love a goal here to kill the game. And Nkuku with the corner. Towards Guy Corres. Can he head her away? Just over the bar. And Cuckoo now is going to try and wind the clock up for Chelsea. And it's going to go out, and that is it. Chelsea are Premier League champions for the first time since Antonio Conte's departure. And Chelsea have done it. The Enzo Maresca era is officially capped off with a Premier League trophy. People questioned Enzo's appointment. People questioned it when Chelsea kept him on after a dismal first season. But nobody is questioning it now. Chelsea have done it. Chelsea have broken the Manchester City dominance and now stepping up to the plate. His first signing for Chelsea under Enzo Maresca. It is Bastoni. And Chelsea are your brand new Premier League champions. They've done it. They've done it. What an amazing season it has been for Chelsea. Manchester City did beat Leicester in the end, so Chelsea had to beat Aston Villa, and they did. Enzo Maresca has delivered Chelsea a legendary Premier League title here on the final day of the season. Looking at the other competitions here, Manchester City did win the FA Cup with a 2-1 win over Southampton. Chelsea again did a domestic double winning the Carabao Cup. The second year in a row they've done that with a 3-0 win over Aston Villa. The UEFA Super Cup was won in a German derby with FC Bayern Munich winning. In the Champions League we did go out to Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals. Arsenal went on to beat Liverpool in the final to win their first Champions League. The Europa League was won by the Yellow Army winning 3-1 over Aston Villa. Bayern had managed to win the Conference League, and at the start of the season Manchester City did beat us to win the Community Shield 3-2. However, I think we've got the last laugh in that regard. In terms of stats, Carnegie was a familiar face across the season in goal, playing over 50 games. Caicedo, Hernandez, Bastoni and Gyökeres round out the top appearance makers. In terms of goals, Gyökeres had 28 across all competitions. Cole Palmer added 23 himself, and Cuckoo added 14, Kochi with 10, and Fadawi managed 9. For assists, Cole Palmer had 9, and Cuckoo got 8, Kochi got 7, Fernandez got 6, and Gyökeres got 6, taking his total up to 34 goal involvements. Looking how some of the players have started to develop here. Gyökeres we signed in the first season, he was an 82, he's up to an 89 now. And Cuckoo, who's been here since the start, is up to an 89. Hernandez is an 89, another great signing there. The defensive pairing of Tomori and Bastoni was key for us in winning the Premier League. I'm glad Fernandez decided to stay because him and Kochi made up an incredible midfield pairing. Cole Palmer, another player here from the start, developed into a heck of a right winger. Carnegie had his moments, but he was the keeper who helped us win the Premier League. And then Reece James and Caicedo, again, both here from the start and both very pivotal for the team. And that is where we're going to leave today's rebuild. Chelsea are Premier League champions once again. Enzo Maresca has turned Chelsea into a European powerhouse once again, following a few years of mediocrity, and he has well and truly rebuilt this Chelsea team. Thank you guys so much for watching this first video on this channel. If you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what team you want me to rebuild next. But until next time, peace.